This is a professional development presentation that focuses on questioning strategies. The Depth of Knowledge Framework, which is a questioning strategy, was created by Norman Webb with the intention to categorize expectations and tasks according to the complexity of engagement required. The framework is broken into 4 different levels. Level 1 is recall, Level 2 is skills and concepts, Level 3 is strategic thinking, and Level 4 is extended thinking. The next few slides will explain each level a bit deeper. The first of the 4 levels is recall. On this level, the idea is to recall information. This can mean that a student references a character, a setting, etc. There are some key verbs that tend to come up with these types of questions. Some of those might be define, cite, or name. Some examples of questions that teachers may ask on this level are, can you name the main character from the story? Can you name all 4 seasons? Can you select the item that begins with the letter D? The second level is skills and concepts. On this level, the idea is to focus on building understanding by comparing and organizing. Some key verbs that you might see on this level are sort, explain, and graph. Here are some examples of questions that teachers may ask on this level. Can you sort these items by color? What happens to water when it gets really, really cold? Why do we have rules at school? The third level is strategic thinking. On this level, students are focusing on reasoning and using evidence to support their responses. The key verbs that might arise here are support, examine, and identify. Since this level is helping to promote even deeper understanding than the previous level, some sample questions could be, why do you think the main character did that? What would you have done? What would happen if we didn't have rules at school? If you could be any community helper, which one would you be? Why? The final level in Webb's framework is level 4, extended thinking. This level is the most advanced and really pushes students to think about and process the questions being asked. It involves more complex thinking and reasoning, resulting in more complex responses. The common verbs that might be used here are create, design, and prove. Here are some sample questions. Create a habitat for an animal of your choosing. What types of things are included to meet their basic needs? Can you create a timeline of your life so far? Work with a partner to compare 2 characters. How are they alike and how are they different? To help with this framework and deepen understanding, teachers can also utilize probing questions. These are questions that encourage deeper thinking and are open-ended to allow for many different responses. There is no one right answer, and the question is more open to interpretation. In addition, these types of questions open the door for more follow-up questions to be asked, encouraging discourse of whatever subject material is being discussed. When reflecting on the assignment from last week, here are some examples of probing questions that align with both the activity and the depth of knowledge levels. As a reminder, the activity was for first grade students, and it was for them to create their own neighborhood maps, making sure to include a post office, police station, fire station, school, hospital, and bank. They were also instructed to include an accurate compass rose. Level 1 questions. What does this symbol mean? Can you show me where you placed your hospital? What direction is north? What about east? Level 2 questions. What is the difference between a map and a regular drawing? Can you explain why you put your school over here? Can you sort the places into groups, one where people live and one where people work? Level 3 questions. What problems might come up in your neighborhood? Why do you think neighborhoods need schools? What about hospitals? And here are some level 4 questions. Create a story with your map, letting us know where things are in your neighborhood and what happens there. Also, how might your neighborhood change over time? Implementing this type of framework during instruction might seem overwhelming, but there are some strategies that can be done both during formative and summative assessments to make it easier. Formative assessments are meant to take place during instruction to gauge where students are in the process. This information aids teachers in adjusting instruction if necessary. Some formative assessment strategies that utilize the depth of knowledge framework are conferencing and exit tickets. All of these options give teachers the opportunity to determine if the content being discussed is sticking. Summative assessments are a bit different in that they typically take place at the end of a lesson. It helps teachers figure out if the lesson was successful. Did the students understand the content? An example of a summative assessment strategy that involves the depth of knowledge framework is an oral presentation of the students' math projects. They can answer various questions throughout their presentation, demonstrating their understanding of the assignment. In addition to various implementation strategies, there are also digital tools that can aid in the depth of knowledge instruction. One example is digital reflection journals. These can be used for students to receive prompts, probing them to dig deeper in their knowledge. Classrooms can also utilize Google Earth. In the assignment with the neighborhoods, students can view real-life neighborhoods and compare them to the neighborhoods they created. Kahoot can also be used. Students can create their own questions, encouraging critical thinking skills. To wrap up this presentation, I will briefly recap what has been discussed. Webb's depth of knowledge framework consists of 4 levels: recall, skills and concepts, strategic thinking, and extended thinking. Probing questions, small grouping, and exit tickets, and oral presentations can all aid teachers in implementing the framework. Technology is also something that can be helpful. When it comes to the Topic 1 assignment that we are focusing on, some examples of helpful technology tools can be online reflection journals, Google Earth, and customizable online games like Kahoot. Implementing this type of framework does not have to be overwhelming and scary. Utilizing some of the things mentioned here can help make it a lot easier.